This is going to take a group effort, by the way. Any volunteers on keeping track of time? Love somebody to tell me when it's like 10 minutes. That would be great. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Y'all hear me okay? Are we doing this? Hello, hello. We're not live. This one. Got it. So hello, everybody. I am Jessica Gulick. I am your substitute speaker today. No, seriously. What we are here today to talk about is growth hacking your career. And what I do need your help on, so I'm going to share some thoughts with you. There are no slides. Oh, that's just bad. You can take that off. Turn that down. Let's just go to like WSC website or something. There are no slides. It's going to be discussion. What I want to do is share some of the lessons learned that I've had in my career with you, and then open it up for your questions. And we can kind of almost run it like a birds of a feather, if you will, just open it up for discussions. And I hope everybody shares their insights or help, because careers are important. They're your life. So a little bit about me. Right now, I am president of the board for the Women's Society of Cyber Jitsu. I've been with the program for about 8 years now, since 2015. By day, I run a company called Cat's Eye. We focus on helping cybersecurity firms grow through marketing strategies. We also run Play Cyber. So if you haven't heard yet, which I think everybody has, I'm on a mission to make cyber a sport. And I truly, honestly believe that. It wakes me up every morning. It wakes me up in the middle of the night. I see it, y'all. It will happen. Just hold my beer. We'll make this happen. So 20 years in cybersecurity. I have done certification and accreditation work for many years, working for companies like Mantech and SAIC. I've worked in the Department of State working on disaster recovery, IT contingency planning, vulnerability management, creative vulnerability management process, security program reviews, co-authored a couple of different publications, done a lot in cybersecurity. From a management standpoint, as I moved throughout my career, I've always wanted to run my own company. So as I was going through the career, I was looking for leadership opportunities. I have my CISSP, I have my PMP, and I have an MBA. Those were the three things that I set out to go and get, because I felt it would help me not just get to my career, but I also have 2 children, one of which you've probably met. She's running around here with the jersey on. You know, at many times in my career, when I knew I was going to step out for a couple of years, I would get a certification because I felt like I could lock in my salary, if you will. It's like, you can't take this away if I've got this. And that would make me more competitive. It's perfectly okay. I can talk louder than that. I've done a lot in cybersecurity. I had the opportunity. It was funny when destiny hits, right? I was in the middle of a meeting with a partner, major partner, and we were working on a bigger proposal. And this woman knocks on the door and she says, "Hey, Jess, can we talk?" I'm like, working here, you know, she's like, "I need to talk with you." And I'm like, "Okay." So I step out and she said, I want you to be my successor. I'm like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "I run marketing." I'm like, "That's nice. Goodbye." You know, at the time I was running a division, deputy division manager. I had some programs. I was managing about $15 million. Last thing I wanted to do was go into marketing. Didn't understand the situation, didn't get the clue because I was focused on business. Boss calls me a couple of days later and says, "No, you don't understand. She's leaving for personal reasons. We won't go there. She needed to fight another fight, if you get me. And so she needs you to step in." And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I thought it would just be a couple months. Here I am running my own company that does marketing. My point is that your career, you don't know which way it's going to go, and you should be open for it because it has opened a lot of doors for me. And I'm doing things now that I never would have thought I would have done. Before my mom passed away, I remember she had a couple of days, you know, right before she passed, and she was very much awake and in with it. And she said, "I had a dream." And I said, "Where's this going?" She's like, "You're going to be in academic areas. I just can see it." And I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "No, that's not happening." That was in 2015 before I started my firm. Today, I work a lot with education training and workforce, and I love every minute of it. So you never know where it's going to happen. So that's my story. There's been a lot of lessons, a lot of mistakes, a lot of bruises, a lot of pride moments, some achievements out there. But there are some things I wish I knew back then that I know now. And that's what I wanted to share with you. Somebody said it to me. It was one of these like executive coaches. You have to look at yourself as a business plan. All the talks that you do for your career, we talk about your resume, right? We talk about how do you get a job? Forget that for a second. We're talking about a career here, not a job. What I want you to look at yourself is you are not just a person, but you could be a business yourself. And now that I've run a business, we're 8 years this month, I get that more. So think of your business plan. Think about what is your mission. Fiona, if you're a business plan, if you are a company, right, and you were doing a business, what is the Fiona business plan? What is your mission, right? What are your objectives? What are your strengths? What are your services? What's your differentiation? Think of yourself as a business and think about everything that you offer others, what those services might be. Sure, it might be penetration testing, but is it? Is it more analytics? Is it consulting? Is it strategy? Is it being a project manager or leader? What is the service that you individually offer? Next, think about your marketing plan. What's your marketing plan? What's your business's marketing plan? How do they decide it? We always talk about if you're around the marketing discussions, whether or not you're going to be a digital marketer. Okay, so how does that equate to a person if you're a business? If you were, maybe it means that you want to do your outreach through emails and social media. If you're a more event-based marketing plan, maybe yours is social. You like people. So you want to go to as many events as you can in order to meet people and to grow your career, right? If you are more of a writer, an introvert, you don't like people, get away. Maybe yours is being an author. Maybe you're a podcaster. Maybe you're a blogger. You have to design the business around you, your strengths, not what you read in a book, not what your friends tell you, not what your mom tells you, what is true to you, because only you know what your differentiation is. Look across from you, look at each person next to you. How are you different than them? Your difference is power. Your difference is value. All kinds of differences, the way you look, the talk, your experience, your background, the way you think. If you grew up in New York versus Texas, these are all differences and it all has value. So think about your own personal marketing plan and design it to be purposeful and to take advantage of your strength, not what somebody else tells you, not what a resume says to write. What about your partnership program? What's your sales strategy? How are you going to sell you? Are you going to sell yourself directly? In other words, you need to go find that hiring manager and find out who you're going to work for. Are you going to work through a channel? So you're going to go through an executive recruiter, right? Or you're going to go through an organization of some sort. Figure out which strategy you want to take, mix it up. I use growth hacking in the title of this. Does anybody know what growth hacking is? Does anybody realize it's actually a thing? So it's a strategy. There's a book called Growth Hacking. If you like short books, the 145-page books, otherwise known as the toilet books, it's a good toilet book. No, it's a great book. I love growth hacking. It's about testing out, if you're a business, testing out where things work. And if they work well, double down. If they don't, move on and test something else. You should be growth hacking your career. And you do that with whatever your marketing strategy is, whatever your partnership strategy is. And here's the thing we'd like to say at WSC, and you'll hear Mary Galloway say this a lot too. Who's your advisory board? Think about that for a second. I've heard or read somewhere that the top 3 people that you listen to, whether you know it or not, for the most part of your life, day in and day out, they actually have an impact on who you are as a person. And that means your music. If you don't like people and you don't talk to people and you're like, it's not going to work for me. No, your advisory board is that whatever music you're listening to, whether you know it or not, it's putting thoughts in your head. It's surrounding you every single day. If that person is negative, you're going to be tired and negative. If they're positive, you're going to be more energetic. Could be the type of music too. So be careful where you have your influences that you don't know about and manage them very purposefully. But create an advisory board. There's always been talk about mentors, mentees, mentorship programs. I'm not dissing on them. If you can get an opportunity to do it, do it. But more importantly, because again, I'm not talking about a job, I'm talking about a career, I'm talking about a life, start putting together your advisory board, and they should be mixed up. So how does a company decide who's going to be on their advisory board? Well, you want diversity. What I mean by that is you want somebody who you can go to when you have a question about business, question about cyber, question about balancing life, a question about making decisions and revenue and salaries. Surround yourself by people. They don't have to be your besties, right? They can just be the when you need them now, you can reach out to them for a mentoring moment and get advice that you can trust. But start designing that advisory board in your head. Who do I go to when I need help, when I have a question or I want to bounce some ideas across? That's important. That's your tribe. And it's important that you cultivate that over the years and you invest in it. Now your value. Value comes in lots of ways. I wish I thought value was only in money because I would be so much better right now. But to me, value has always been impact. Everybody is different. But you need to understand your value and what your value means to others. And you really want to be able to understand the changes. What do I mean? How do you understand your value? Those are big words. Again, it's just like a business. You've got to look at what is the demand, what is the supply, and how differentiated are you? Are you just starting out? Or have you been in the business for a while? That determines your value. And you just want to make sure that you're always looking at that. Diversify your revenue streams. Cybersecurity in particular. Most of the, I would say 80% of the most successful people I know in cybersecurity, they don't have one job. They usually have 2 or 3. And the reason is because they're doing something on the side, something they love, volunteering, or a next startup or something like that. So diversify, it helps you. But these are the kinds of thoughts that I'd love to just I hope it changes your mindset about you and makes you start thinking, because you can read those books. Lean Startup, another great book. You can do your own one-page business plan, but make it about you. Be purposeful, revisit it every year, and really be thoughtful about where you're putting your energy and time. It really does work. I mean, even if you look at the buyer personas, because you talk about that as a business, who is the hiring persona? Remember what the Tony said earlier about is this your pot? It goes back to understanding your buyer persona for who you are is understanding where are you going to fit from a company standpoint and who do you work well with? So with that, those are my kind of thoughts that I wish I had back then, to do my own personal business plan and be able to highlight the strengths and really drive around the strengths. Don't worry about your weaknesses. You'll shore those up over time. Focus on the strengths. Ideas, thoughts, questions. It's okay to disagree too.
Disagree, but so you said you have to figure out where your strengths and your weaknesses are. One of my problems that I'm having, I'm a little bit of everything, but I don't have a strength in anything. Like I'm not an expert in anything. I also believe that you can't be an expert in anything. That can change it every time. But how do you determine what your strengths would be if you're unsure what they are?
Do market research. Ask people around you, get feedback, and listen to the feedback and take it for what it's worth. Because a couple of things that you said were flags for me. In terms of, you said, you know, a little bit of everything, you're not really, and you don't believe there's an expertise. Actually, most people believe if you read 2 books on a topic, you're more of an expert than most people in the room. It's sad, but it's kind of true. Part of it is that you probably have a personal bar that you're holding yourself up to that other people don't see. So get market feedback. That's a different talk. Yes. Yes. That is a good book.
Helping me understand what am I portion of my clients and myself, helping friends and family. It's a great book that can help you find, helping you think about, like, oh, I know that.
Mhm.
Right, Hunter, I think 200.
Yeah, it's a great book. I've done that.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
129 is the,
Yep. Any other questions, comments? Go ahead.
What's your advice for not getting passed over? For a lot of subject matter experts and in the technical field, I guess I'll be passed over management.
So number one, are you upset that you got passed over, or are you upset you didn't get the job? There's a difference. There's a difference. Passed over. Okay. So you wanted the job and you weren't considered. What do you do about that? Again, you let people know what you want. They can't read your mind, and oftentimes they might not know. You also ask, just like we were when we were back in school, when we said, what is that? What are you grading me against? What is the parameters? Learn from that. And don't be shy. Oh my gosh, do not be shy. Be fearless. My daughter is here. She'd tell you, I tell her every single day, regrets are horrible. And if you're shy about it and you're like, I got to be professional, no one's going to tell me, they're going to think, I don't care. This is your career. Put yourself forward and be fearless, because you deserve to know what that grade is, right? How they're grading you. You deserve to know what they're looking for. Maybe it's not a good fit for you there, but elsewhere it could be. And you could take that feedback, shore up your services, right? Freshen up that business plan and marketing plan and get back out there.
you mentioned you started a small business yourself. What were some challenges as a people want to start on business?
Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow keeps me up at night. It's really scary. No, I mean, if you really think of the intricacies of it, what it essentially means is the faster you grow, the harder it is. Because when I was first starting out, cash flow, I could kind of handle it. We're talking 20, 30, 50K. As you start to grow, you're talking $2, $3, $4 million. And so it keeps you up at night. When the world stopped in the pandemic, I thought I was going to have a heart attack because I got caught holding $350,000. That means I had invoices out, nobody's paying and nobody's working, but I still had to pay the debt. So cash flow is one thing. Advice that was given to me that I think was rock solid. You can go it alone. You don't have to do a partnership, but you do have to have somebody with you. Hire somebody. I don't care if it's the neighbor, the 13-year-old, hire somebody. It makes a difference. Totally makes a difference. Tillery?
Yeah, I was scared that driven by a corporate decision rather than this, that diversity of thought really helps us to make sure that we're pushing in the right direction in the markets that we're looking at. We de-emphasized some of our management consultants, for example, pushing to the trading space more, the concept of the way that demand has changed, and that diversity of thought really helps us do that.
Yeah. Happy to have a longer discussion. And totally do it if you're thinking about it, but have like 25K in the hole.
So just to talk about growth hacking, that's a great kind of way to find your strengths as well. Kind of push in the direction and see if that feels right, or if it feels like something that you don't feel yourself growing in. And so if that is the case, that's another thing, have a little bit of basis to try to push that forward. And it's the same thing when in my experience, pushing into management prior to starting doing that now, a lot of it was identifying those places I wanted to go, trying to push into it, and making it known that I'm pushing there.
Yeah.
And so growth hacking, but in a visible way.
And the biggest thing about that, and here's the thing, I'm going to give you this one last piece of advice. It's okay to walk away, right? Test it. But the hardest part with testing and growth hacking is recognizing when it's not working. And that means a job, a role, somebody you're working with. It's okay. It's okay to say 2 weeks into the job, you know what? This is not for me. It's okay 2 years into the job, you know what? This is not for me. And find some place where you can grow. I think too often we're like, oh no, if I switch jobs less than a year, they're going to think poorly of me. Nobody cares now. Just explain it and go. You deserve it. Yeah. Absolutely. Good luck in your careers. Thank you for joining me today.